Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ramblin Reploids. I'm Coleman-X, and as always, I'm joined with...
Twitch from Reploid REVO. Nice to see you, everyone.
And I'm sure everyone is happy to see you, and I'm happy to have you, as always.
Likewise, feeling is mutual, as always.
All right, so let's just get into this. Today we're going to be talking about just features that have been in some of the games and taken out, but we want to see them come back. So these are just, just things that we've liked in past games.
Yeah.
And we made a big list, and we're just gonna kind of take turns reading them off.
Yeah, this isn't a
talking about
top
them.
10 or anything. We're just kind of going on about features that we liked, things we'd like to see come back, stuff that they might have maybe only like experimented with and then never touched again. So yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. There's a lot of good potential in some of these that I wish they would have come back for other games, because man, they're a lot of fun, and it's like, why would you ever take stuff out that was fun?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll just get us started. That's a really good example of what we're talking about, which would be like Mega Man's super adapter, or like the power armor and the jet armor, from 6 and 7. It was just, like, from 6 to 7, it looked like it was going to be a trend going forward. But then in 8, there's like, nah, man. You get a Rush motorcycle instead.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Rush motorcycle is really cool, but what bugged me is, like, you introduce the jet and power armor, then you combine the two of them into, like, a pretty neat amalgamation in 7.
Yes.
And then Mega Man 8 comes out, and Base still has his treble boost armor, but what about Mega Man? I mean, you could have even made it just work the same as the super adapter, and I would have been fine with that, so it's a little disappointing that they just got rid of it. I mean, I guess a soccer ball is cool.
Yeah, I mean, a ball and a motorcycle, it's,
It's basically the same thing, a suit of armor, an exploding soccer ball, more or less the same.
Yeah. But, oh man, like, I would love to see those, to see that come back, like, in some way. Just we talked about this on the last episode, but just the super adapter is one of my favorite things in Classic as a whole. I thought it was really cool. Can you imagine the super adapter and the double gear system existing parallel? Like,
well, that's probably why they had to pick one over the other. Yes, I think if they gave him the super adapter in 8, it would have been really cool, but I think it might have taken away from some of the other things. But I'm of the mindset where it's like, you kind of, like, just add more. Like, why not? It's fun,
Or it could have been a new game plus thing. It's like, you beat the game as intended. Here's a fun thing to screw around with. Just have fun,
Yeah, I like post-game things like that, where you just get something fun to mess around with. Like, that's great, Like, I guess if you think about it, the rush cycle is sort of like that, only because you're invulnerable and you can basically just run around really fast. Like, it's kind of neat. I mean, Rush takes the damage, of course, but that's still really useful. Like, I never even thought to use that for that purpose, because I always was like, oh, don't take any hits. But then I never thought to realize, like, well, if I just run through enemies and take the hits anyway, like, I could clear stages really easily that way. And one thing I wish you could do with a rush cycle is do a wheelie. I wish pressing up made you wheelie. That would have been cool.
Oh yeah, that's not a thing, is it?
Just for style points, Yeah, like things like the power armor and the jet adapter and the super adapter, or whatever they are, all those little things. Those were a lot of fun, and it's neat going back and collecting them. And that, I feel, is something that Mega Man 8 might be lacking in a little bit, is the extra things that you can go back and get. They kind of make up for that with the different kinds of charge shots, which we'll be talking about at some point. But yeah, like, just those armors are cool. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have seen in Mega Man 11, there was concept art for different adapter armors where you could combine with Rush, you can combine with Beat, you can combine with Tango, and each of them would give you like a different power. Like Rush, I think, was like a power armor, Beat was like a flying armor, and Tango looked like it gave you some sort of claws. And there was even armor, I think, where you can combine with treble, strangely.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was really cool.
Sad that it wasn't a thing.
Put that in the game. Like, we would have loved that. That would have made Mega Man 11 so much more interesting to have that. But I think a lot of it also comes down to the stage design. Mega Man 8 doesn't have a lot of vertical segments. There's not a whole lot of verticality to the stages, unless you count like elevator segments. And so I think that's probably why those armors aren't there, because there's never really any time where you need them. It also might have trivialized certain stages, like Astro Man stage, but I think that's worth it. It's like, yeah, you have to solve a puzzle, but I would have loved to have gone back to that stage with the super adapter and just skipped most of it because I could double jump. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you can technically do that with a Mega Ball, but...
I was about to say, yeah, if you know what you're doing with a Mega Ball,
but, still, like, it's just a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's points for trying something new, but negative points for taking something away. You know?
And you also have to wonder, lore-wise, why would Dr. Light stop using it all of a sudden? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, Rush hardly does anything in Mega Man. It's a jet, and like, if you don't count like the motorcycle, like the optional Rush things, like he's just a mandatory jet like once.
Yeah, I mean, I did like those shooter segments. That was really neat and interesting. But
yeah,
Rush
I thought it was fun.
He doesn't really do anything anymore. Although I do like how in Mega Man and Base, you can use the Rush search again from Mega Man 7. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that goofy ability because it's like a fun way to like just take a break and relax. It's a lot of fun. I think that's neat, and they should do more things like that as well. But yeah, definitely bring back the adapters, because it will, or at the very least, I mean, I don't know, it augments your gameplay, and I think that's fun. And if you're not going to have those armors, at least give us other characters. Like, let us play as Base, let us play as Proto Man, things like that. If you're not going to give us the armors,
Yeah.
So.
I was really hoping that would be DLC.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. So the next thing on our list, kind of in the same vein, is the auxiliary weapons that you can sometimes get, which aren't really weapons so much as they're like utility tools, like the magnet beam, the grapple hook, and the super arrow.
And the balloon.
And the balloon.
The balloon is important.
Yes, of course, the balloon. We mentioned this last time, the super arrow, how you pull a Tao Pai Pai and you jump on a log that you throw. Same thing here, you shoot an arrow and you can stand on it and just ride on the arrow until it hits a wall.
And it does damage to stuff.
And it does
which
damage.
is so cool.
Yeah. But there's other things like the magnet beam from Mega Man 1, which never gets used again, where you can create a platform straight ahead from your buster and then stand on it. The grapple hook, of course, acts like a grappling hook. You can shoot it straight up in the air and pull yourself up.
Spider-Man power.
Yeah, you can. It's basically like a Spider-Man power, and then the super arrow does that. There should be more utility-based weapons. Now, it's debatable whether or not I think the Mega Ball is a utility weapon, because you can use it as a weapon by kicking it. Although I think most people just use it as a double jump.
yeah, like after you learn you can do that, like it's hard to go back and not do that,
But I would like to see more utility weapons. I think those are neat. They break up the gameplay. If you're not going to put in like an armor adapter, put in the utility weapons. Those are neat.
Yeah, just a little something to experiment with. I think that's the key word out of these things.
Yeah, just little things to tweak the gameplay just a little bit.
Well, speaking of tweaking the gameplay, the next thing we got is the enhancement chips from X3. Like I know in X3 they're not implemented the best. You get one, you're locked out of the others. But the idea is so cool, like to get an upgrade and then to further get an upgrade, and then you can upgrade them all and you get this cool gold armor, like such a cool thing.
I like to imagine it's like you're like going Super Saiyan. It's like you have the Buster upgrade and then you get the other one and it's like and this is what I would call a super Buster. And then, like, you get the golden armor.
Even further beyond!
You get all 4 chips, and you get the hyper chip that gives you the gold armor.
Yeah.
I really like that because it takes the idea of getting armor upgrades, and it's like, well, what if that upgrade got an upgrade, And you can be like, well, you have a Super Buster. What if you got, like, a Super Buster? You could just whip out charge shots left and right. Or I don't know, like an even stronger barrier. Like you take damage and then you get like a double force field or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking things and making them extra strong. Like that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off that, you know, that's kind of how X4 was with the 2 different arm capsules.
Yeah, it almost
Like
made me
that
feel
kind of
like
thing was cool.
it almost made me feel like that was something they were going to do, is have 2 versions of the same armor. Because, so here's a little fun fact that that Cole taught me about, which I didn't even know, is that in the betas for X3, if you get the hyper armor, instead of gold, it's black.
Yep. Each chip actually has a full palette.
Yeah.
The light chip is blue, and there's like a lemon colored one, and a red one, and a green one. I'm not sure which is which, but they'll be on the screen.
Yeah, and that made me think how in X4 you can either get the white armor or you can get the Buster, which is either white arms or black arms. And that made me think like that might have been like a callback to that. But then it made me wish that they would have had a fully black armor. So let's say there's you either get 4 charge shots or 1 giant plasma shot. That's your 2 choices. Then maybe for the helmet, it's like the helmet either gives you infinite ammo or the other one gives you like, I don't know, more damage or something like that. So you don't get infinite ammo, but everything is like doubled in damage.
Okay, yeah, like special weapons or something.
Yeah, special weapons do twice as much damage, something to that effect.
Okay.
Then instead of the dash boots being like, well, you can hover, you can have the other one be like, well, you can do 2 air dashes at a time. Something, you know what I mean? Something like that. And then maybe one could be, instead of a Giga Crush when you take damage, taking damage just refills your weapons instead. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it seems like
and that's just off the top of my head. I'm not even like you know, putting a whole lot of thought into these, but those are alternatives you can do to make the augment the existing armor pieces for X4. So you can have the white armor or you can have the black armor, and each one does different things, and you can pick and choose which one you want to combine them with.
Yeah, it seems like the black armor in this case would have been more like power focused. You know, it's like that's your like juggernaut armor. You know, you're gonna go in and you're gonna be using lots of weapons and just dishing out damage, you know. I think that would have been really fun.
That's your not your like speedrunner's armor for doing damage.
Yeah, there we go.
Because
something like that.
2 air dashes is really cool.
Yeah,
so
it's really fun to use in X3.
Really
so yeah, X2 and X3 both had a version of a double air dash. So
and it was
X4,
really fun to do
the
that.
ball.
You having a whole lot of like mobility options. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the hover, and it has saved my ass multiple times. But having a double air dash would be cool. And then the ultimate armor could be like, whoop. Sorry, my computer went to sleep. And then the ultimate armor could be like everything combined.
Oh man!
And then that would have made the ultimate armor literally the ultimate armor because you could store up to 4 plasma shots. You can double air dash and hover. You can charge your weapons by taking damage and then doing. Oh god, someone needs to hack the game and make this real. You could charge your weapons by taking damage as well as having infinite Nova Strike. You could have infinite ammo for special weapons, and they do double damage. I don't know if I said that already. I'm probably stumbling over myself. But the point is, that would be so freaking cool.
It would be.
And that's the whole point of Mega Man, is make things cool. It does, like, you know, you can make the player overpowered. It's fine. It's not like it's a competitive game. You can make people overpowered for fun and just have that be like a secret.
Yeah. Like as long as it's like a secret thing, then go crazy.
The people who want a challenge are not going to do that anyway, and the people who do want a challenge,
like if it's optional, then
the people who want a challenge are not going to grab all that extra armor, but the people who just want to have fun with it are. And you know, you can make the game easier, and that's a good way of making unskilled players, like people who maybe are not so good, they're beginners. You can still give them access to the end of the game by allowing them, if they try hard enough to find all the secrets, to still beat the game. And then, you know what I mean? So it's not like you're trivializing the game. You're just opening up another path. So it's either like, hey, you have to get really good at the game in its vanilla form, or you're gonna have to do some extra searching to, you know, get the secret stuff so that you can beat the game at your skill level, which is fine. It's not really, because it's rewarding both types of players, no matter which way they go for it. It's rewarding to the player who worked really hard to beat the game without the secret, you know, versus how it's all, like, it's kind of like beating a game Buster only. It feels really nice when you do that. You're like, yeah, I'm badass, I did a Buster only.
Yeah.
Then you could say, I beat X4 and I didn't get the ultimate armor. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't just win the game. Because, you know, same thing in X6. A lot of times people are like, X6 is bullcrap, let's just go get, you know, the ultimate armor. And they just cheese the whole game by constantly Nova Striking everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, at that point, it's kind of like, you sort of have to, but it's like, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, there's ways of making it rewarding for both players, you know, without forcing anyone to have to use something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that'd be good. I think the ultimate, or in X4, and also the super chips by the super chips and X4 by extension, should have had multiple versions for the armors. I think that's cool that you can do that. I don't know. That's it. Maybe not in every game, but it's a feature I'd like to see come back at some point.
Yeah, just something to give you a little extra kick, and just something extra to find. Because I remember finding those pink capsules. It's like, what do these do? You know, because you had to have the corresponding capsule to get into them.
Right.
And like, the only capsule I knew where it was when I was a kid was the leg. So I found like every other pink capsule except for the leg one. So I would always see this.
Leg one is arguably the most useful in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the double dash.
Yeah, the double dash sounds like a Nickelodeon show.
I was gonna say Mario Kart, but that works too.
Scott Summers or whatever his name was.
Mark Summers, get out of here.
Summers.
Scott Summers. This is X-Men. What are you doing?
Wait, who the hell? Where am I getting Scott from? There was a host on Nickelodeon who had the name Scott something. I don't know,
but Scott Summers is Cyclops.
You're right. Yes, now that you mention it, he is indeed the best X-Men. Don't at me.
Man, you said Psylocke wrong. But anyway.
Psylocke, Cyclops, they're basically the same person.
That is true. You know, they're two sides of the same coin.
There you go. I don't know anything about X-Men lore. I'm just joking. I just really like Cyclops because I like his 90s design and I think his power's cool. I know everyone loves to hate on him because they're like, oh, he's a dorky Boy Scout. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you know, he's also the leader. He has to kind of rein everyone in because honestly, the X-Men without structure is just vigilantism.
Yeah.
So, but that's besides the point. That's a whole different tangent. So yeah, super chips / enhancement chips from X3, really good. The alternate versions of the Buster, which I wish they did for all the parts in X4, also really good. Please do more of that. Which
Capcom, we're giving you free ideas.
We are giving you free ideas.
Just put us in special thanks.
Brian, go talk to your insiders and make them watch this. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you can if you want.
I mean, yeah, just kidding, unless you're serious, in which case, please do. Just kidding. Maybe not, you know. So going off of that, we did mention this, or I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. I think I kind of did.
Kind of.
The armor combinations from X8, since we're going off of this, just because I don't feel like retreading so much of the same ground. The armor combinations in X8 is really cool, but I kind of, if you think about it, it is basically what I just said I wished we had. Where you have one armor, and then you can get different versions of that armor that give you different abilities. So, rather than having the plasma shot or the four-way chart or the quad charge shot, where you can store 4 of them, in X8 you get the neutral armor, and then you can either get the Icarus or the Hermes parts, and depending on which one you get, that will give you different versions of things. So, like I believe the Icarus Buster is like a giant laser beam, and then the Hermes Buster is like a 3-way shot, and it charges up faster.
Yeah.
So that, in a way, that's kind of an extension of that, and
it's kind of, yeah.
And I know a lot of people really loved that system. So please, if there is an X9, which I'm sure there is, I know you guys are working on it. Please implement that. People love that. That was really cool. A little bit separate from that, I would say also allow armor combinations. Like, I want to be able to pick, like, the blade armor and give it, like, the shadow armor's feet and whatever, and just kind of
I was just about to bring that up.
I want to say that's the same thing for X8, but I really think that what they did in X8 is closer to what we had in X4, but for the entire armor. but I would like to take literally separate armors and just let you swap them around.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. If it's not something that's going to be possible in a mainline Mega Man game, maybe it could be possible in X-Dive. I mean, they're all about that scrambled stuff, so, you know, maybe you can scramble the armors and you can make your ultimate suit of armor, you know? Hmm?
Just, sorry, I just thought of the implications of that and it made me really happy.
I was gonna say, I can see why they
man.
might not let you do it all the time, or not even in the games where you have multiple armors. Like, so here's the thing: in X5, if you could combine armors, you could make something really overpowered.
Yeah.
Just basically just give yourself the Falcon armor's flight with anything from any of the other armors, and you're just completely untouchable at that point.
Well, I was thinking, like, this is a separate tangent, but a way to kind of help X5 and 6, like, instead of having to have the full set, like, you can pick, you know, just the Falcon armor, and you only have, like, the legs and the arms, but you would just get those benefits, but you wouldn't get, like, the flight until you had the full set, you know, like, you would get a bonus for having the entire set. Just, I don't know. They could have done something with that. Instead of locking the whole thing behind, you have to have all pieces to use them. Instead, it's like, you pick Falcon armor, parentheses, incomplete, or something, you know? But, yeah, just combining them would be stupid and fun, and I love it.
And that's like, that would make sense, because in the dialogue, Dr. Light is like, this is the leg part for the Falcon armor. This is what enables the flight. And I'm like, first of all, no. It's a jetpack. I can see it. And secondly, why does it matter which part provides the flight when you need all of it to use any of it anyway?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That could be fun, letting you have each individual piece of armor and, you know, letting you combine them or something. Or go the X8 route and make one good armor and let you have it have multiple uses. Yeah, that's the way to go. It's people like their choices, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's just more capsules to find, and finding a capsule is always like a highlight in X games.
Yeah, it's having more stuff to find is really good. Like Mega Man 7, say what you will about Mega Man 7, but man, there's so much stuff to find in Mega Man 7. It's so great.
Yeah, you can find all the expensive shop items with Rush Search if you know what you're doing, and that's amazing. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either. I thought you had to buy all of those.
No, like, I think it's the Super Punch. I forget which item. I think it's the Super Punch, and it's in Shademan stage in the alternate path.
Really?
There's that big portrait of Dr. Wily in the back. If you search right in front of that, you get one of the shop items. I think
that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like there's like, I'm pretty sure you can find every item.
That's really sick. I had no idea.
Except for the Proto Shield. Like, that's not a shop item.
Well, yeah, but regardless, give us more things to find. It's fun to explore the stages. It gives backtracking a purpose, because you know, some people like finding things. It's like, ooh, wow, look at this thing I found. Mega Man 7, you can get all the rush parts that give you the super adapter. You can get the Proto Shield, and you can get like all these other upgrades. You can get beat. And there's all these other upgrades that augment what you already have. Like, that's crazy. Just give us more stuff like that, more variety.
And you know how Mega Man 7 really added a lot of that stuff, because there were so many stage interactions that you could do with your weapons.
Yes, that was another thing on our list, is stage interactions.
That's what I call transition.
There you go. That was a brilliant segue. Stage interactions. We want more stage interactions. In Mega Man 7, if you have the Thunderbolt or whatever it was called, and you go to the junk stage where it's like there's all the magma and stuff like that, there's like an elevator, like a lift system. If you shoot the lift system with the electricity, it will activate it, and then it turns on, and then you can ride the lift to the top, and like, that's cool. That's like a neat little interaction. Anytime there's fire, you can shoot it with an ice weapon, the freeze cracker, and it will, I know, get your laughs out. Go on, freeze cracker, haha. But it will freeze the lava or the fire or whatever it is, and that's another stage interaction. That's really neat. That's been a staple of Mega Man for like a long time.
Or as your brilliant brother tells you, go into the forest and set it on fire.
Exactly.
You know?
And I do know that this is a thing that like stage interactions have existed. I know that they do exist. But it is not something it's not something that is done enough. Usually it's just like burn the leaves to reveal something hiding in the trees.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's fine.
Like it's really obvious.
Yeah,
like,
but
like
I would
you're
like
supposed to use it for this specific thing.
I would like something like, I don't know, let's say there's enemies that are hanging from a wire, and you can't shoot the wires normally. But if you use a cutting weapon, you can cut the wires, and then the enemies fall and reveal like a hidden path or something. You know, or if there's machinery, if you hit it with the electricity weapon, you'll turn it on. Like, they did a little bit of this in X8, so, like, I get it, it's kind of there, but it's not really on the same level as it was in previous games. I would like it if they kind of brought that back. I want to be able to open up new pathways, I want to be able to activate machinery, I want to be able to stop hazards, you know, using my weapons in unique and interesting ways. There's just not enough of that, I feel. I feel like, you know, you can kind of skip most of it. It doesn't make the stages easier and, you know, anymore. Like, I like that if you were like, oh, if I have this weapon, I can do this thing, and it makes the stage easier for me, you know? And you do that for stages where it's not necessarily in the boss order, so, you know, it encourages you to try different boss order combinations or different stage pathways, you know? Like, things like that. Like, that could all be really interesting and fun, but they just don't do it enough, and I wish they'd bring it back. Now, I know there's people who are already furiously typing in the comments that Mega Man 11 did this. Mega Man 11 sorta does it. It's really not quite the same. In Mega Man 11, the way that it seems to work is there's usually like an instant kill stage mechanic, or like a really annoying stage mechanic. And you can pick a weapon and it just randomly destroys whatever that stage mechanic is. Tundra Man's weapon will stop the lava wall, or the firewall, or whatever in Torch Man's stage. Yeah, if you just use it, it'll freeze the firewall for a little while and you can keep running, which I didn't know.
It is the best weapon.
It is really useful. It's basically a screen clearing weapon. If you use the bouncy ball in Fuse Man stage, it'll destroy the laser beams, I think. There's like little laser beams that keep going on like a cycle. I think you can destroy those. If you use the blast bomb, or whatever it's called, in was it Cube Man stage? Block Man stage, it will destroy those weird like labyrinths that you have to go through before you get crushed. You can just destroy all of those if you hit them with a blast bomb. Like, those are technically things that you're doing, but it's more or less just deleting the hazard as opposed to using it in a clever way. You know,
yeah, instead of like opening a brand new path just for experimenting.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like, well, I blew it up and now I'm running. You know, it's not like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of like a good example here. Like the bouncy ball thing. What you could do for the bouncy ball thing is, maybe there's like a part of a stage where if you can happen to land the bouncy ball into like this little container, it'll like bounce around like crazy or something and like open up something or give you like a bunch of items because you managed to like land one of the balls in like the hoop or something like that. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Kind of like the Clown Man stage in Mega Man 8. If you kick the Mega Ball into the clown's mouth in the beginning of Clown Man stage, you get an extra life. Like,
what?
That's like a neat little... You didn't know that?
No!
What? Dude, I'm gonna have to show you. Yeah, in the beginning of Clown Man stage in Mega Man 8, if you shoot the Mega Ball and you kick the ball directly into the clown's mouth at the archway at the start, it goes into the clown's mouth and makes like a little bum-ba-da-bum, and then it spits out a one-up for you.
That's so cool.
Like, you know, like clever... There should be more clever ways of using the weapons in Mega Man 11, though, that are not just, I delete the obstacle in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, like, that is neat, but, like, so for instance, a lot of the ice weapons have a tendency to freeze lava. You should be able to use an ice weapon that freezes lava and then walk across that lava and, you know, take a hidden path that you normally wouldn't be able to take because it's covered in lava. You know? Like, imagine if in X1, I'm not bashing X1 because there are a lot of cool interactions in X1. What if you shot Chill Penguin's ice sled into the lava and it freezes the lava beneath it, and you could ride the ice sled to the end and get the heart tank, as opposed to having to kill Chill Penguin and freeze? You know what I'm saying? Like, neat things like that.
And instead of the level freezing over, you kind of have to have some agency.
Yes.
To do it yourself. Yeah.
Like for like the leaky lava at the end of the that's a fun word to say, leaky lava.
Leaky lava confirmed for X9.
Yes. Like the leaky lava at the end of Flame Mammoth stage. It would be cool if you can hit the lava droplets like at the source with like a shotgun ice. It'll like seal the lava thing, and then it won't drip anymore.
Yeah.
Like something like that. You know what I mean? Those would be cool interactions that I just don't think they do enough of anymore. Like, and again, I don't want you to just delete obstacles in front of you. I want there to be interesting things like activating machinery, freezing lava to open up a new path, you know, or something. Mm-hmm. There should be, or how about freezing water? There hasn't been any like freezing water elements. Like, that'd be cool. Like, what if like you can shoot like an ice weapon underwater and it like creates an even bigger ice thing? Like, I think in X3 they did that. If you use the frost shield underwater, it makes an even bigger frost shield. That's cool.
Yeah, if you charge it up, it breaks off and then floats to the top, so you can ride it up there to get secrets. Yeah, stuff like that is fantastic.
Neat little things like that. There needs to be a whole lot more of that, and there isn't.
Yeah,
I want to see more of that.
Yeah, Mega Man 7 kind of had the market cornered on this, but you know what else Mega Man 7 had?
What's that?
It had the hidden fighting game.
Yes.
It was so unnecessary and so cool.
The hidden fighting game was awesome. There's a little bit of trivia about that. Apparently that was thrown in last minute. Someone was just like, because, okay, Mega Man 7 was created in an incredibly short amount of time. I think it was like 3 months.
Seriously?
Yes.
Man, it doesn't show. I love 7.
They put it together in, I think, 3 months. It was really quick. And they just used what they learned from coming off the heels of Mega Man X1 and just made Mega Man 7. And it's one of the best Mega Man games of all time, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. Just because you're not tiny and speedy like you are in the NES games, it doesn't mean Mega Man 7's not good. I love Mega Man 7. And so, they were like, what if we put in a secret fighting game mode? And they were like, yeah, you could play as this character, that character. But they basically were like, if you're gonna do it, you have to get it done within like a very short period of time. I don't remember what it was. And you have to do it yourself. Like, we can't devote the team to do this. And so I think it was like one guy on the team who did it, and he just put it together himself, and that was it. And he's like, I just want this to be a thing, and it was, and he put it in there. And so yeah, a secret fighting game mode would be good. And by extension, Capcom, please make a Mega Man fighting game. Besides Power Fighters. I know people are going to be like, yeah, but what about Power Fighters?
Yeah, like a versus fighter.
Mega Man for Power Battles was a real game, and I'm like, yeah, it's basically just Mega Man 7 co-op mode. Like, you just shoot bosses together. Like, it's not really a fighting game, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, give us like a real proper arcade fighting game with Mega Man characters. I know that's a topic for another day. Maybe we can talk about our dream roster for a Mega Man fighting game. But yeah,
I was thinking about that at work yesterday.
Give us more mini games in our games. It's fun. So another feature that I don't know if we could call this one a forgotten feature because it's technically in the latest game from Mega Man X. I would like the live swap from X8 to just please remain a staple feature of the game.
Yes.
Here's what I would change though. So in Mega Man X8, you either pick, two characters like X or Zero, and that's it, or X or Axel, Zero, whatever the case may be. You do that, and that's it. You only get those two for the whole stage. How I would fix it is I would make it so that you can either play as one character, two characters, or three characters. And the swap button lets you cycle between which one you get to. So, for instance, tapping the swap button will make you just go to the next character in the sequence, kind of like Sonic Hero style. Or, if you hold the swap button, it'll pause the game and then let you pick, up or down, like which of the other two that you want. This way, you technically have all 3 characters with you at all times. Because in all the story mode cutscenes in X8, all 3 of them are together, like, they're all together anyway. So why would you split them up when you actually do the missions? So it would be fun to have 3 characters with you. Now here's the thing. The way that you balance this, and you don't have to even have an explanation, the way that you balance this is that you can say that picking 1 character gives you a whole ton of HP. Picking 2 characters gives you a split HP, and picking 3 characters splits it 3 ways. So that this way, if you want, you can pick 1 character who's just super powered, 2 characters who have different utility, or all 3 characters, but the downside is that all 3 of them are weaker. This way, you don't just have 3 super overpowered characters breezing through a stage, because that's basically giving you like 3 lives in a stage for nothing.
That's basically how Skullgirls did it. You could have a team of 1, 2, or 3, and it would give you like health penalties based on the size of your team, and I love that. And you know what? A direct consequence of X8 not being able to have all 3, like on any of the weapon gets or in the cutscene against Sigma, you can't have everyone in their ultimate armors. Like, you know, if you go in with X and Zero in their ultimate armor, and the last time you used Axel, he was in ultimate armor, it'll still have him in the cutscene in regular. I'm like, I just want them all to match. You know?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and so, you know, like, I feel like that's how you can do it. Like you said, Skullgirls did it, and I know a lot of other fighting games have done it. I'm pretty sure that's how it works in Capcom vs. SNK, I believe. You can do like a team of 3 and they all have a health penalty, or you can do a team of 1 and he's just really strong. You know, things like that. I think would be interesting, and you could argue like, oh, they have to share equipment or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, whatever the case is, they have to swap those heart tanks between each other to make it work. I think that would be really interesting. And then to make it even more interesting is that you pick a loadout for them. So when you pick X, you can pick X or pick him with armor or whatever. So he basically stays the same. And then for Zero, you make it so that instead of giving Zero, I don't know, like armor or whatever, you give him different weapons like you did in X8, but flesh out every weapon. Make every single weapon like its own gameplay style. You know what I mean? Like really make it worth it. Just like how if you're playing X and he has like different armor, it vastly changes how his gameplay is. Do that for Zero. So it's like, well, you're getting Zero, but you also get different attacks, you get different special attacks, you know, things like that, different ways of making him viable. So if he has like a pole arm, don't just give him the same, because if you look in X8, it's the same attack animation every single time. Give him different attack animations. Maybe like with Zero, he does like a stab, then it's like an overhead swing, and then like a spinning attack that hits behind him as well. Like something, you know, don't make it all the same. And this way, even if you're playing with all 3 characters, and they're at a health disadvantage, you can load them out with weapons that, you know, give them better stuff. And maybe, if you really, really want to, you can make upgrades that reduce the health, the health handicaps, so that at the end of the game, a fully upgraded team is literally like having all 3 of them at full health.
Yeah.
This way you can work towards it, and you know what I mean? And it's, you know what I'm saying?
Or just have that as like super secret, hard to find.
Yeah, and you can call it like, I don't know, like a synergy link or something like that. And when you have it, it increases, you know, how well all 3 of them work together. And then you can give things like Axel, instead of giving Axel, like Axel already gets different guns, but maybe make it so that he can only bring 1 gun with him or 2 guns with him into a mission, and have that gun have a specialized purpose. So it's like, okay, Axel has like a pistol, and it's like a rapid fire pistol, and he can shoot in all 8 directions, something like that. Whatever, that's fine. You know, that's what he gets. Then you can have like the Gatling gun. But when he has the Gatling gun and he has like a weapon equipped or something, I don't know, maybe it shoots differently. So the Gatling gun is normally an ice weapon. Maybe if you have like a fire one, the Gatling gun turns into a flamethrower or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
there's ways that you can mess with it, or give him like a shotgun. So now instead of when he shoots the shotgun with a flame weapon, instead of it just being a flamethrower again, maybe it just creates like a big puff of smoke in front of him and it does more damage. There's ways that you can add variety to them and make it worth bringing all three of them, because they all now serve different purposes. Or I would even say, I could even argue, like, if you want, you can bring Axel and give him the weapons exactly as they were in X8, but maybe instead of, like, armor upgrades or something like that, you can give Axel different gear, like a grappling hook or a hover extension, like, things like that to, like, make him, like, a more utility-based character. To have him stand on his own, and, you know, he can't do quite as much damage as Zero, and he can't, you know, he doesn't get armors like X does, which give him all these different things. Maybe he has different gadgets and things that make him unique, you know? Like, yeah. But I want the ability to bring all three of them and hot swap between them so that you have a reason to have them. Because not having all three of them, all that does is make more work for you where you have to go and backtrack. Like in X8, I'll beat a stage, because I know the best team to bring with me is, like, X and Zero, and then I go back and I'm just like, well, I'm just going back here with Axel because I need Axel for this part, which is annoying. To reduce backtracking, bring all three of them, and then, like I said, just give them all a health handicap that you can mitigate as you get upgrades, and then you would end up with, you know, a really powerful team, and it would feel as though the whole team is getting stronger as you play. You know, it kind of, which is the recurring theme in Mega Man X, where you go from kind of weak to and squishy to become much more powerful by the end of the game, and that's a way that you can do it for all three characters. And I don't know, I think it's something that you can do. You know, it would be good. And while I'm on that topic of live swapping between all three characters, give us multiplayer, damn it.
Yeah.
Let us have 3-player multiplayer or something, and I want to have, you know, let's do it. And then, like, a 4th player can be a navigator, and they can just drop items on you or something every now and then. I don't know. I'm pulling that one out of my ass, but that's a thing that I want. So, yeah, that was my rant. I feel very strongly about this topic, as you can tell.
Hey, maybe someday anything's possible. With this, maybe this Z Chaser thing is kind of testing out. I said the name right?
I think it is called Z Chaser, yes.
I felt confident until it came out.
Now, to spit in the face of everything that I just said, I do believe you had a suggestion on this list, which is the polar opposite of everything I just said.
I do. Just, you know, I think that there should be a full story mode for a single character, how there was in, like, X4. Like, maybe at the beginning it could be like, do you want to play X0 Axel campaign or the team campaign? You know, the real one, probably, as far as the story would be concerned. But then, like, just one that focuses on just X, and maybe you can have
maybe at certain
exclusive
Nexus points, it shows things where all three of them are working together.
Yeah, or something. Just, I think it'd be kind of cool just to really spotlight a character. You know what I mean? Because that was really cool, and they had their own, like, individual cutscenes and events. Which, by the way, please bring back the anime, like, hand-drawn cutscenes, because those were really, really cool.
Yes, we love the anime cutscenes. I love the cutscenes in X8, of course, as well. What's funny is those were on par, I would say, with, like, the current trend of 3D anime that's been coming out lately.
Yeah, I would
say those are on par with that, and I am okay with them doing more of that, but also I do really like the standard hand-drawn anime cutscenes. Those are also really good.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, I didn't... Yeah, just cutscenes. Do both. Just give us the world.
Yes, everything.
But yeah, just, I mean, there's not too much to really add about that. Just like a full story mode for each character if you want. You know, just have like
or at the very least, enough cutscenes that if you were to do, let's say you were to play like one character as your primary or something like that.
Like if you did the one per stage.
Yeah, enough cutscenes that you can see where each of them are going. Like I said, maybe like the first opening cutscene is all three of them together. And then, depending on who your main character is, based on like your usage or something, as like your first pick, like you can pick like a primary, secondary, and then tertiary. You can then maybe have, I don't know, like cutscenes that's telling their story, but all 3 stories are happening simultaneously. But you can see where, and then maybe at the end they converge or something. That's how I would like it. This way, each character, if you don't care about the others, you're still getting a satisfying experience for each one if you have a favorite.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they kind of did that in
Or
Extreme
give them all
2.
3 separate endings. Who knows? Like, maybe they don't all have to end in the same place. Like, here's how I would handle it if you want to really make them separate and, like, that's what you're staunch about. You could be like, X is handling something happening on Earth. 0 goes into space to go handle some issue happening there. And, I don't know, Axel is doing something somewhere. I don't know. And then you can have all 3 of them have 3 separate endings showing you how they solve each of their own personal issues.
Yeah. Or, like, have a point where it would be like, should we stick together and do this, or should we split up and do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you choose where your ending's going.
Yes.
But like that whole concept reminds me of Extreme 2. You know, because there's the point when you're near the end and you're fighting the main bad guys. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take the up path, you take the down path. We'll beat them both at the same time. You know, how everything's happening together. I love that idea.
Yes, exactly. Like, there could be something that, you can do to make each character worthwhile. I say either have all 3 characters stick together all the time so that you don't... that would be easier because you don't have to do, like, multiple cutscenes or whatever. Like, that's fine. But if you do want to split them up, make sure that it's worthwhile when you do so. So that each character feels fulfilled. We were just having a debate before we started recording this about, like, well, which ending is the canon ending for X4? Like, whose story do you follow? Because it's really difficult to tell, because each one is, in theory, technically valid. So rather than leaving it ambiguous and confusing and, like, what the hell is even going on, just make it so that all of them are possible. Just actually acknowledge those as things that you can do.
Yeah, like don't have them contradict each other. It's just telling different parts of
Stop with
what's
the contradiction. It's so frustrating, believe me, as someone who does Mega Man lore all the time and talk with people all the time about this, and I guess you could say it's kind of my job to figure it out. It gives me such a headache. It is so frustrating. Please,
3 weeks later.
Make it easier for us. Yeah, 3 weeks later. Well, 3 years later, and I still don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh boy.
So, this is going to be a very smooth segue, talking about multiple story paths from Mega Man X8. Just like how this, in theory, would give you so many different story paths and freedom to explore however you want, I would really like for the Mega Man 3 Rush Jet to come back, which gives you the freedom to explore the stage any way you want. See how smooth that was? What a nice transition that was to that topic? That wasn't at all forced?
I can smell the butter. It's that smooth.
Oh my gosh. So, alright, no, but really, apropos of nothing, just completely unrelated. Mega Man 3 Rush Jet, please come back. You're overpowered. You were the NES version of the Falcon armor.
Yeah, basically.
This is really Cole's idea, but I completely agree. It's the Falcon armor. It's just for X3, for Mega Man 3. Because you start, and then you can shoot, and you can fly around, and you have full freedom of movement. And, like, that's it. You just do anything you want, go anywhere. It's so overpowered. I understand why they made it so you can only go forward, because it does make sense that you would have to keep moving forward, like, to give you some semblance of being on, like, a jet board. But in Mega Man 3, you can jump on it, and you can move in all 8 directions, and no one can stop you.
It's basically the Sonic the Hedgehog, like, debug mode.
Yeah.
You're just moving around.
Exactly. The only difference is that in X5, when you do that, you can damage things around you, but you can't shoot. But in this one, you can move around, and you can still shoot. But that's it. That's like the one difference, is that you don't hurt things by bumping into them.
I love that the Rush Jet makes Rush Marine just completely, like, useless. The only use for Rush Marine is when you water, you're like, I want to save Jet from...
Oh, you broke up. Can you say that again?
Oh, let's see. I like how Rush Jet in Mega Man 3 completely makes Rush Marine useless. The only use for Rush Marine is when you see water, like, I want to save Rush Jet next. You know?
my god. Okay, every time... You can leave this in the video if you want. Every single time you say this line, it gets cut off again. The connection broke up in the exact same way. What he's trying to say, because I'm recording this on my end, is that when you use Rush Marine, it's supposed to be so you save your ammo for Rush Jet for later, because Rush Jet already does the same job. I don't know why that keeps happening. If you want to do another take, we can. Every time you say it, it gets cut off, though.
Yeah, but I kind of like the little faux pas.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps happening. It's really frustrating because I'm like.
But now I'm coming through fine, right?
Now you're coming through fine, but every time you went to say the only reason why you would ever use Rush Marine is
if I say the RM word, then I'm doomed.
Yeah, exactly. Don't say that RM word. It's cursed. So.
Yeah, Rush Jet.
Yeah, so Rush Jet, bring it back. It was really useful. I mean, I know why you didn't bring it back, but still, it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this one's a little controversial because I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it was so unique that I enjoyed it. And that is a Mega Man and Base style boss select.
I'm 50-50 on that because in one way it's unique and it's fun, but in another way it completely railroads you into like you have to, you know, like basically do weakness order or else. Right. You know what I mean?
And that's also why I'm also 50-50 on it, is because I like the idea that beating certain bosses opens up paths for you. That's cool. My problem with it is that you have to do that, and there's no way, like kind of like how in Mega Man 7 and in Mega Man 8 the boss select only lets you fight the first 4 bosses. And I'm like, no, why would they do that? I like the passwords for Mega Man 7, which just give you all 8 bosses at once.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's my preferred way to play. It kind of bothers me that you have to fight only the first 4. It's to kind of guide you towards, like, the easier gameplay, so that you don't pick an impossible
the 4 levels. It's the 4 levels of the rush symbols, too.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell, like, gee, I wonder, you know, which stages are gonna have the secrets in them, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing to alleviate some of the problems is you pick any of the 8 first, and then it creates a tree.
Now that would be interesting.
Based on that.
Yeah, so based on which one you beat, it opens up a path to the ones around it. That could work. I think that's an interesting way of going about it. And then you could argue that you're not returning to base, you're kind of like deploying where you start, and then you're on like one mission the whole way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like...
And then it's like you're out in the field until you take out all the bosses, and then you can return back home.
Yeah, like, just remove the teleport animation. You know, part of the story could be like, oh, my teleport is messed up. I can't
you can have the teleport animation, but you can say like, oh, you're like... You could even say, like, oh, we're on, like, a timer or something, and, like, we have to, you know, go in a specific order or something. Like, there could be some dumb excuse. And then instead of returning home to go get upgrades, they could come to you. And then that would be an excuse to have the auto truck come back.
Yeah!
And then he could drive out to you, and that's where you get all your upgrades from.
Oh, speaking of auto truck, can we please bring back optional helmets for Mega Man?
Yes!
Like in the beginning of 7?
Mega Man 9 had a cool feature where you could, and N10 as well, where you can take off Mega Man's helmet. I wish 11 let you do that. I don't know, it's just a fun little cosmetic thing. Bring back the optional helmets. That was, like, hilarious. Like, even if they do nothing... Yeah! Just bring that back. That was clever, it was funny, and I wish that you could absolutely play like that. I know there's ROM hacks where you can do that. People have ROM hacked it so you can play with the mental helmet the whole time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, put that in the game. That's fun. Let us have fun, Capcom. Why do you hate fun?
Let me wear a med helmet throughout the whole game.
Or just wear no helmet, I don't know. Let me play as Mega Man wearing, like, a Groucho Marx mustache, something.
Or wearing X's helmet. You know, just completely throw logic out the window.
Oh, that's like in the previews for Mega Man 11, remember? And everyone's like, what is with the Star Force armor? Does that mean they're connected? And it's like, no, they're not connected.
I just thought there were going to be skins for, like, every Mega Man. Because, you know, that piece of art that came out that had all the American box art Mega Mans, you know, like, all in a row. I was like, oh, there's going to be, like, like costume DLC. That would have been the coolest thing.
That would have been really neat, but unfortunately Capcom hates fun, and they had mentioned that model for Mega Man was just made for fun by one of the developers.
Yeah.
And they were we're very sorry for any confusion that caused, and I'm just like, but we loved it. You could have rolled with that.
Yeah, you could have been, oh, this was our intention all along.
Yeah, we definitely meant that, and her just tugging on their collar, trying not to sweat. Yeah, I mean, come on, that would have been really cool. And like maybe each one gives you like a different power. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well.
How did we get on this after talking about boss selects?
I don't know, but you know what else gives you a different power?
What's that?
Mega Man 8. How you can buy different charge shots.
Yeah. Yes.
Man, this is segue the episode.
This is great. I love these segues.
But oh man, I loved, like, okay, I loved one of them because I would always get the arrow shot because it was, at least to me, far and away the best one.
Arrow shot is the most overpowered one. If you hit something,
okay?
At least in my opinion, because when you hit something and then it like inverts and then shotguns in their face and hits them even more. So it does
shotgun ice done right.
Yes, that's what I want shotgun ice to work like. It does a lot of damage per hit, and it's like it spreads out as well. So like if you miss and just happen to like pink something, it'll hit other things on the screen and it does decent damage. I don't know how much damage each of those little balls do when it explodes.
It feels like a lot.
I want to say it does about as much as like a medium shot, so that's like a pretty decent amount of damage to have like a lot of projectiles flying. So when you get hit with like 5 of them, yeah. So that's
just normal charge.
It does a lot of damage and it looks really cool and it has a cool sound.
Yep, that's its sound.
It sounds really neat when it hits something. It's like pshoo, wing, and it like inverts and does cool stuff. And an alternative to that is the piercing laser, which is super cool, which is just a giant laser beam. And it makes like a really strange noise that kind of hurts my ears, but it's cool. And that one, I think like Storm Tornado can go through shields if it's like a sniper drill.
Okay.
I think it does affect them if you shoot it. It'll like go like.
It makes sense with the name.
It'll go like tink, and then like when it goes through their shield, it hits them for like 1 damage. But that's the thing that you can do, and of course
you tried, buddy.
Yeah, and of course the piercing laser also does a lot of damage. I think it does more damage than the arrow shot, but it doesn't have that spread factor. And I don't know. I just seem to like the arrow shot more than the other one. I think it's more impressive looking. But that's just me. But either way, there should be... Oh, and there's the third one, which is if you charge up, I think you go into like rapid fire mode. Something. But more charge shot options would be cool if you could like modify them. And when you do that, this is my new headcanon for Mega Man 8, the new Buster modifications are being made by Dr. Cossack. Because he's the one who invented the Charge Buster.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah. I'm going to go on a limb and say Dr. Cossack is the one who came up with the alternate charge shots. And did you know that Dr. Cossack was supposed to be in Mega Man 8 as the creator of Duo? He was...
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Duo wasn't always an alien. That's why his design kind of looks like he's Russian. He has like the hat on and stuff. So I'm going to go on a limb and say Dr. Cossack developed the alternate charge shots. And so, yeah, that's my thing. Dr. Cossack.
I would have preferred Duo being made by Cossack.
But I think because
I don't know. There's sentient weird. Alien.
Once you start introducing actual live aliens to Mega Man, it kind of bothers me. And now, on one hand, I want to be like,
and then they're just gone. They're just like, oh, whatever.
It's like there's a rule in storytelling where it's like don't ever introduce characters who are better than the main characters, or more important than the main characters, because when you do that, now the whole story is going to be about them. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, there's super-powered alien robots in space, and we're just not going to address that? We're not going to address the repercussions this has on mankind? And on one part, I want to be like, I hate Mega Man 8 for that, but I do love the game. But I'm mad about it but at the same time, that Band-Aid's been ripped off a long time ago by the Star Droids.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I guess in all fairness, it's like, well, I guess we just know aliens exist and everyone's okay with this.
Okay, we know alien robots exist.
We do know alien robots. Who made them?
I don't know.
It's like the question, like, who built the Transformers? You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, so aliens bother me, but at the same time, I just have to learn to accept aliens are just a part of the Mega Man universe. No matter how stupid or dumb you may think they are, they exist. It's a thing. That's something that happens. What were we talking
Different
about
charge
again?
shots from Mega Man, invented by Dr. Cossack.
Yes, different charge shots invented by Dr. Cossack make it a thing. Give him a purpose.
those
I
were
would love
really
to
fun.
visit like Dr. Light's lab and like him and Dr. Cossack are just like having coffee together or something, and then like
Yeah.
you know, he's like, Mega Man, come to my lab. I'm going to make you very big charge shot. Big heat in Russia.
You know, since we're at like a point where it's not, you know, sprite based anymore, I think it would have been really cool if it was there was like some mild design change to the Buster and you got a different one. Like maybe the yellow bar on it is like it'll be shaped like an arrow,
Yeah,
or
or
it'll be like
red.
blue,
Yeah.
blue like a laser or something. Yeah, just something like that would have been pretty cool. But
That would be pretty neat. I would like to see that, especially with his Mega Man 11 design, how they added more like X series details to him. It'd
Yeah.
be cool to see like little modifications to his body based on that. That'd be cool.
yeah,
And it would also, again, it would just give us a chance to see these characters who have just been forgotten by Capcom. Like, they talk about Dr. Cossack in 11, but you don't see him. Like, it would be cool if in 11, or I guess now, since there's no DLC, maybe in Mega Man 12, whenever that happens, maybe they could just have Dr. Cossack be there and, like, Kalinka, and you can see, like, just as, like, a neat nod, you can show Kalinka the way she looked in, X-Over, or Crossover, where she's, like, older and is in, like, a blue jacket or something. That's cool, because it shows that, like, oh, Kalinka is growing up, because it's been X amount of years, but, like, you know, they're still robots, so they don't, and it's fucking neat, like, oh, I get it, like, that's cool, you know,
Yeah.
I haven't seen this character in years, like, you can show Cossack and give him, like, some gray in his beard, you know,
yeah.
to show, like, he's getting older, like, that would be a nice nod to acknowledge these characters, you know, who, even though they've only got, like, one purpose in the entire series, like, you acknowledge them again, and you're showing them, you know, it's, not to bring this back to Dragon Ball again, but it's kind of like how the characters in Dragon Ball have all fallen to the wayside unless you're Vegeta or Goku. Like, you know, show those characters, let's see what they're up to, and, you know, I wanna see some of that. Let me see what Dr. Cossack and Kalinka are up to. I would love to see, like, Roll and Kalinka being, like, best friends or something. You know, and, like,
Oh man.
I'd like to
They
see,
could-
like, Uncle Cossack, you know, coming over and helping Mega Man become stronger. That'd be so cute.
I wonder if they could do like a little story arc of Roll feeling kind of strange because her best friend is growing up and she still looks like a little
Yeah,
kid,
like
you know?
something like that. You know, it would make for a good narrative.
Yeah. At least give us a side comic or something. You
Yeah,
know?
like little just something. These ideas write themselves, and I'm surprised that Capcom isn't touching them. You know, it's only like vaguely touched on in Archie Mega Man or in Ariga Mega Man, and it's like, you know, touch on that stuff, put it in the games. It'd be so interesting to see us talk about these things, and they don't. So that's a forgotten feature. Bring back old characters who are no longer relevant, just as a cameo.
Yeah. At
Like-
least as a cameo.
At least as a cameo. Let me see Dr. Cossack hanging out with Dr. Light when you go to visit the lab. Let me see Roland Kalinka hanging out being best buds. Let me see Reggae in Dr. Wily's lab, you know?
Yeah, now
I
we're
would
talking.
love it if, like, in, like, a Wily stage, Reggae is taunting you throughout the stage.
Uh-huh.
know,
Oh
like,
man, that'd be funny.
Like, he's in a room and he laughs at you when you take damage, or, you know, he does something goofy in the stage, and then when you get to the end, he flies away. You know, and then in the next room, he's there again, you know, like, something like that would be really cool. Like, you know, little stage, you know, interactivity with the player. Like, you know, he just squawks like, haha, you got shot, you know, and then goes to
He's
the next
pretty
room.
much Iago.
Yeah. Only he doesn't sound like Gilbert Gottfried.
Well,
Hashtag Gilbert
change
Gottfried for reggae.
that. Yeah, we gotta go back and change that.
I would love it if Gilbert Gottfried was reggae. Dr. Wily, that pesky Mega Man fell for one of your traps. Like,
Smoke detector.
oh no. You know what? I remember those commercials, and I remember thinking to myself, there wasn't a better person to pick to play a Smoke. Wasn't his name like Smokey? It was something stupid like that.
I think so, yeah.
I'm Smokey the Smoke Detector. You know, whatever the heck it was, like. And he just, like, yeah, that's what a smoke detector sounds like. It's Gilbert Gottfried, but if it was a voice. Perfect. I remember it was like squinting too.
Oh yeah, we've
red
used that
nose.
in multiple videos just because Greg always talks about it.
I remember those commercials. There was like a puppet or something. So weird. I always see him like I think it was like after Ninja Turtles came on, or like sometime after Power Rangers. I don't know. Just between shows, I'd see those, and I hated them because I hated the sounds of smoke detectors as a kid. They were so loud.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
Oh boy.
Mega Man.
Mega Man. Smoke detectors. I want a smoke detector robot. It's just a smoke detector with eyeballs.
You didn't hear it from me, but just wait till Mega Man 13.
Mega Man 13? Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
They're thinking ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and have a talk with Brian, ask him, do any insiders know about this? Am I missing something?
Oh, just don't mention my name.
I won't mention
out.
your name. We're gonna edit this part out, don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
Alright, thank you.
So, you don't want to know what else is secret?
Oh, you took the exact words out of my mouth.
Secret moves or weapons. Secret moves or weapons in games. Some notable examples would be the Hadouken, the Shoryuken, the Z-Saber in Mega Man X, the Proto Shield from Mega Man 7, although I don't know if you count that as a weapon, but it's a neat secret.
It's equipable. It's a weapon.
Equipable. There should be more secret weapons that are like overpowered, and they don't have to even be canon. They can just be crazy. Like, just Mega Man shoots a Hadouken. Come on, bring that back.
Yeah, that was cool.
I want to say in X8 they do technically bring the Shoryuken back, but it's not the same, and it's not really as good as it sounds. It's just a thing you can do. It's kind of like a
nod. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, and I do have this, I contributed this to the cutting room floor. There is audio that is unused of Mega Man X and Alia both saying Hadouken. That wasn't used in X8, and I know it's from Mega Man X8 because beforehand they say the names of all the X8 weapons. So it's like Crystal Wall, Green Spinner, Squeeze Ball, or whatever they are. And then he gets to the end and he's just like, Hadouken! Shoryuken!
Shoryuken! Hadouken!
Shoryuken! Hadouken!
And I'm just like, wait, whoa, hold up. Where did the Hadouken come from?
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has I'll send you a link. I have the videos uploaded to my channel. They're unlisted because I just, I just didn't want to spam my channel with that.
Gotcha.
But I'll send it to you and you can listen to both of them. And it's at the end of their sound banks. They both say Hadouken and Shoryuken, even though you can only perform a Shoryuken. It's multi-layered too. X can only perform a Shoryuken if he has the ultimate armor, but he cannot perform a Hadouken in any capacity. It's just not in the game. Then Alia from X8 also says Hadouken and Shoryuken, but Alia can't perform a Hadouken because it's not in the game. And Alia can't perform a Shoryuken because she doesn't have an ultimate armor. So why did she record those?
I don't know.
But
now I want to know.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Why is it there? But it's a thing. It's there. It's part of the game, or I guess it's not part of the game, but it's in their sound files. And yeah, we want more hidden weapons. Give us the Shoryuken. Give us. You know what I want? I want Axel to get Dan's Hadouken. Dan Hibiki. And he goes to do one-handed, and it just kind of goes like, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I would like that. That'd be great.
That would be funny.
Give us, and you don't even have to make these Street Fighter moves. I would like hidden weapons like the Sigma Blade. That was a cool idea. That was neat.
Sword Fist.
Sword Fist. Yeah, just put in little nods to other things. Like maybe instead of I don't know, instead of a Z Saber or something, maybe you can give Zero like one of the swords from Monster Hunter. I don't care about Monster Hunter, but that would be cool as hell. You know.
No, what you do is give Zero a baseball bat like in rival schools.
Yeah.
That's deep cut.
He, instead of a helmet, he wears a baseball cap. His ponytail shoots out the front of the baseball cap. Oh my goodness, that would be great. Like, give us references to other things, you know what I mean? Like, maybe like here's one that would be cool. You know what, this is one that we don't have on our list, but I'm gonna segue right into it. Give us ride armors that you can summon in the middle of stages.
Yeah, like an X3.
Yeah, that was really cool because in other games, you just kind of had a hope that there was a ride armor laying around. X3 lets you basically summon a ride armor almost anytime you want. I say you should still be able to summon them whenever you want, and if you summon it at a stupid time, that's just your fault. Like, if you're stuck in a hallway where you can't progress, well, that's just your idiot fault for picking that. But
oh, you mean like any time? You
like
don't
any time, instead of having to
just
go to a portal, you should be able to teleport one to you and use it anytime you want. And I
would
think
it just have like one health bar, and then once it's gone for the whole stage?
It's just done for the stage. That would be neat. Like, you can summon it, and, you know, maybe you can, like, tell it to go back or something and preserve some of its health. I don't know. But I would say you should be able to do that. And I would say the one time you can't summon it is, like, in a boss room. Like, you just make it so that when you're in a boss room, you can't summon it, and you can say something like, oh, I can't, the teleport signal's jammed, or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
Just something.
You know, and I think that would be neat. And then, for people who are smart about it, you could have a stage where you fight a boss who's like in an open area and there isn't a boss room door before you go in, and then if you remember, oh, there's no boss room here, I can bring my ride armor to this fight. You know, that would be a neat little way of empowering the player.
Or like a secret entrance where you drop in from the top, you know?
Yeah, so exactly, like the alternate entrance for Magma Dragoon where you go underneath.
Exactly.
So, all of this to say, I would love a ride armor based on the robots from Techromancer, and also Blodia from Cyberbots. Like, I would love a ride armor based on Blodia from Cyberbots. You know, this was supposed to be connected to the give us stuff that's from other Capcom properties as, like, bonuses. I can't even say, like, give us the shotgun from Resident Evil. Like, you know, that's dumb. But, you know, pick things from Capcom properties, and put them to work in Mega Man games. It'd be fun. It'd be a nice little shout out. You know, Street Fighter moves are good. You know, that's one start. But maybe put in some other things, like acknowledge your other properties, like give Zero a sword from Monster Hunter. Maybe you can give Axel a shotgun from Resident Evil. I don't know, or give him like the rocket launcher or something.
You could do a double reference. Give Zero a pipe, because you would do X4 and
no, that would be
Final
great.
Fight.
If you can, give him a pipe from Final Fight or something. That would be excellent. You know what I mean? And it'd be a reference to X4. It would be a reference to Final Fight. That would be really, really good. That would be fantastic. You know,
Reploid Mayor of Earth.
That would be beautiful. Like, that would be a cool thing. Give Zero like instead of Knuckles that give him like Street Fighter attacks, make him do Zangief moves and he like just suplexes dudes. I would love to see that. Like a Final Atomic Buster where if you mash the triangle button, instead of doing front flips, you do corkscrews even faster until you hit the ground. I don't know. Just give us more references to other Capcom properties in Mega Man. We love the Street Fighter moves, but there's so much more untapped potential that you're not touching. It could be excellent. Just please, just do it. We want it.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Maybe someday, if we shout and complain hard enough, Capcom will hear us. Capcom will hear this annoying whining coming from the corner of their ears, and then be like, "What the heck is that?" And then they find a Ramblin Reploids, and they're just like, "Oh, good idea."
Let's bring these guys on the team.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of bringing people on the team, gotta bring back playable navigators.
Yes!
we're
Dang!
killing
Look
it.
at that. We're like 5 for 5. I don't know how many that was, but I'm gonna say it was 5. Man, you were really on top of things. This is good.
This one's going down in the history books.
That was so many good segues. I'm impressed.
Yep.
Do they have awards for this?
They're gonna start now.
I'm gonna make you a placard for most amount of segues in a row.
Yay!
Yeah, bring back the navigators. And also on that note, make the regular hunters also become navigators. There's unused voice clips, which I showed you guys in one of my videos a while back, of X-Zero and Axel all acting like the navigators. That's just things that they can do. And that was just not implemented. I love that you can play as the navigators. You can play as Alia, you can play as Lair, you can play as Pallet, and they basically just play as like the base forms of X-Zero and Axel, like without any upgrades, which makes sense.
They're pretty much the hard mode.
Yeah, they're basically the hard mode. You're playing as those characters without any upgrades. You know, so that makes total sense. And it's fun. It's just neat being able to play as more characters than the same 3 that we've always had. But then what they forgot to do is implement the navigator dialogue, which really bothered me because in-game, none of the navigator dialogue is spoken other than the alerts telling you that they're trying to call you. And that's the dialogue that the male characters already recorded. So why not just put them in the game? Like, why did you record all that and then not use it?
Yeah, I think it was. If I had to guess, it was because you can mix and match parties. But,
Yeah, but
that's
there's no
my
problem with that,
only
though.
guess. Yeah, I know there's no problem.
Because like
but-
if you listen to them, they all say, they'll say like, you know, can you hear me? 0x Axel, come in 0x Axel, and they say them like separately. Yeah. So you can technically do it with any combination of character. The only way that you wouldn't be able to do it is if you had like, I don't know, I can't even think of any way in which you wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I know you can combine parties, like you can have 2 X's if you want, with Alia and X together. But then all you would need to do is just pick a navigator. Just be like, I either want Lair or Pallet to be my navigator, or I want Zero or Axel to be my navigator. Like, I don't see what the problem is.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like they came against the wire, and it was just low priority.
I have a feeling X8 wanted to have a lot of content that was inevitably cut, which is unfortunate because what we got was a great game, but it feels like there was supposed to be so much more, which we unfortunately just didn't get to have for one reason or another, you know?
Yeah.
So, speaking of things that we didn't get to have for one reason or another, I want to know why Mega Man can't duck.
Or swim?
Or swim! On our list, back to back, is ducking and swimming. But not a swimming duck.
Not yet. Confirmed for X13.
Yeah, swimming duck is going to be
it's
one
really
of the
far
bosses.
Swimming duck! Like,
yeah.
You know how they would say it?
Yeah.
They would say it like the X4 announcer.
Speaking of the X4 announcer, he's someone else I want to have back. Just because I love the X4 announcer. This is more of a joke part for this video, but I love the X4 announcer. He's hilarious.
Aiming laser.
Storm Owl.
Web Spider.
Magma Dragoon. I love that guy.
Slash Beast. he was ready to get out the door.
Frost Walrus. He's like, he called him down for like The Price is Right or something.
Roddy, who do we got next? Frost Walrus.
You know what I mean? Like, it's totally how he does it. Or Jet Stingray.
Oh man.
Oh my god, I want that guy to come back. I want him to come back, and I want ducking to come back, and I want swimming to come back. The caveat for swimming for Mega Man 8 is that if swimming is coming back, I want the bubbles to not come out of Mega Man's belly button for some reason. If you look at any gameplay of Mega Man 8 when you do the swimming, swimming is achieved by just double jumping repeatedly, basically. For some reason, the bubbles that appear when Mega Man swims, they come from his belly button. There's like a single bubble on his belly button, and then they kind of like spread out as they move upwards, like a particle system. But they come out of his belly button. I don't get, like, put it near his mouth or near his feet or something.
Yeah,
But
I guess
why-
maybe it's supposed to be where his arms are moving. I don't know.
And
It's really weird because you showed me last night, and I was like, what? What even is this?
And another funny thing is that when he swims, it makes a noise as if he's splashing in water, like on the surface. But he's
Yeah,
underwater.
yeah.
I mean, I get it; it's whatever. But you know, swimming
Yeah.
was cool. That's a neat feature. I like swimming, although it does
I
completely
like
change underwater segments, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because you need a double jump to activate it. So I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to still have traditional underwater segments. I don't know. But
Just put more hazards above and around.
yeah, so swimming should be a thing that comes back because it was a neat idea. And also ducking should come back because ducking was only in Mega Man X5, 6, and 7, and then they just got rid of it. Well, it was like in 5 and 6, and then it was like 1.5 times in 7.
Yeah.
because
It
you
was just in
can't-
the 2D section.
Yeah, you can't always duck. But you should be able to. Ducking is really useful. When you dash, you go to the height of ducking, but ducking lets you do a duck without dashing.
Yeah, so you don't move and maybe
Don't
bump into
move,
something else.
But you can dodge attacks that way, and it feels, even if it's like, oh, it's overpowered, you know, because you're dodging attacks or whatever, but it feels good to dodge.
Yeah.
That should be a thing. Likewise, Axel's dodge roll, which is what he does when he dashes, that's why you should make ducking interesting. Dashing should not change your hitbox height, but ducking should. So that when you play as Axel, it gives you a reason to use his dodge roll, which lets you dash and lower your profile.
Yeah.
Then it would have more of a purpose, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, you know, you bring up swimming and ducking.
Yes, and
That's-
swimming ducks.
Yeah, I mean, that's two things. But it takes two to tango, and we want to see Tango come back.
Damn it. So, I would punch you if I was there.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I can't even fault you though. That was just good.
I was thinking about it the whole time.
Oh my god, how long did it take you to come up with that?
When you started talking about
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Tango. I want Tango to come back. That's just my personal wish, is for Tango to come back, because
I like Tango. I'm a cat person, so
I mean, so Rush has all the Rush abilities. Beat pulls you out of like pits and stuff. What can Tango do for you?
maybe
And-
Tango can do Beat's old, you know, like his Mega Man 5 ability of just ramming into things and killing them.
Well, yeah, because Tango in the Game Boy games, I believe, would turn into like a ball and bounce around the screen. I was gonna say maybe what Tango can do is if you're near an enemy or something's getting close to you, Tango can like swat at it and like claw it and like keep enemies from touching you for a while.
Yeah. Ooh,
You know?
what if like it could dive onto an enemy and it would be like a sticky hazard, you know, like how like a cat will just like grab onto something. It'll just be like
Oh, yeah.
like just do continuous damage until they die or run away. You know, like have a special thing for like certain enemies while they'll just run away.
Yeah, like a thing that kind of like, you know, holds them in place and they start taking damage and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That would be neat. Something to, you know, these are easy things. You can easily do this.
Yeah.
You know, just give it a shot. Put them back in. Don't introduce characters that, you know, are never used ever again.
Yeah, Tango is there with like Reggae, you know, being sidelined so hard.
Yeah, I mean, Reggae I understand because he's really not important.
Yeah.
But he's a nice little analog to Wily. It's cool that, you know, he could, you know, he basically taunts the player. He's like a neat little, you know, joke character that you could do some funny interactions with. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think it would be good. I think it, you know, yeah. Put these characters in, damn it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of putting in characters, like how Mega Man, what was it, 8 and X8, how they had those callback bosses, like just the
Yes.
optional, you know, like that was so cool. The first time I saw Cutman first of all, being 8-bit in like this 3D game, it's like, this is so cool. You know, why are you even here? You die in one hit, but you know, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I wanted to say congrats on yet another good segue. But yeah, we really like the callback bosses. Those should absolutely come back.
Yes.
The callback bosses like the 8-bit Cutman in Mega Man X8 and the 32-bit Woodman and Cutman in the Saturn version of Mega Man 8.
I still never fought them.
I have. They're not that hard. They're pretty easy, but they're strong enough that they can still beat you if you're not careful.
As long as they're fun, like they're fun, right?
Yeah, they still have the same. They have the exact same boss patterns as Woodman does anyway. He plays exactly the same. Cutman is a little bit different. When he throws his boomerang cutter, it goes in a slightly different pattern. It kind of like is more horizontal and zigzags across the screen, from what I remember. It's kind of like Sonic Slicer, I think. I don't know, but the point is, you know, they play like they did, and it's fun. We like that. Little callback bosses. Take, you know, fan favorites and just have them come back. I mean, I guess they blew their load with that with X Challenge, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, in Mega Man 12, why don't you go let us fight, like, Grenade Man or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that boss in Mega Man 10, where it was one boss from each game, that was so cool.
Yeah, that was great. People loved that. Dude, go all the way with that. So another thing that I've also been really wanting, which I actually got this idea from the Mega Man Zero series, which I think is a really good idea that I wish they would implement into other games, is if you kill an enemy, it doesn't have to be a boss, just any enemy, with a bladed weapon or a charge shot, you give them a special death animation. So, for instance, when you kill the enemies in Mega Man Zero with the Z-Saber, they kind of freeze in place, and you see them slide apart, like, you know, like in an old, like, you know, samurai movie, and then both halves fall apart and explode. That's really cool. Same thing with bosses. If you kill the boss with one of those, the boss will split in half along a certain axis, and then, you know, you'll watch, you know, they, you know, explode or whatever. In 3D, you can even do it better than that, where you can detect the motion, the direction in which the model was being intersected at, and cut it that way. So you don't even have to, like, make a particular split. You can just, like, if you ever played the game Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, the whole game is based around that concept. If you hit something from a certain angle, you'll split along that axis. So it's not predetermined axes. You're literally splitting it based on how you're hitting it. So it would be really cool if in Mega Man X, when you beat a boss with a, you know, bladed weapon, it would purposely separate both halves and show you, like, oh, you split him in half and then he explodes and it does something cool. The counter to this is charge shots. Now, this is really only seen in Mega Man ZX. In Mega Man Zero, if you killed something with a charge shot, nothing really happens. But in ZX, if you kill enemies with charge shots, it would leave like a hole in them. It would blow like a cannonball-sized hole through their stomach, or through. You'd see like their arm was blown off or something. Like, it would show you that you, like, the shot went through them and, like, you know, like, did a bunch of damage. And I think that was super cool. So
yeah, but would you see his stomach plug on the ground back there?
I was waiting for you to say that. I mean, crap, man. That's like his stomach plug on the floor over there. How is that even possible? And it just jiggles like a piece of jello. Go watch Kung Pao, it's a great movie. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
If you take one thing away from these videos, the moral of every episode is please watch Kung Pao.
Please watch Kung Pao, it's a great movie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's totally fine. So yeah, I want that. I want special damage sprites, or damage models, whatever you want to call it, for when you kill bosses with specific kinds of weapons. Blade weapon will split them in half, and like a charge shot or similarly powerful explosive weapon will put like a hole in them or something. I think that's super cool. Mega Man Zero and ZX did it, and I want more I want more games to do that. It seems like they just dropped that idea for some reason. Similarly, that's for if you kill an enemy. I would like it if there were special damages or special weaknesses that you could cause bosses, which is something that, as far as I know, only really exists in X1, and I think maybe to a slightly lesser degree in X2. But I think by X3 it's just gone completely. And that is the ability to damage damage bosses with weapons that are not their weakness, but still have an effect on them. For instance, in Mega Man X1, if you fight Launch Octopus or Flame Mammoth and you hit both of them enough times with the Boomerang Cutter, it will chop off Launch Octopus's tentacles or chop off a Flame Mammoth's nose. And when you do that, it removes the ability for Flame Mammoth to lay down the oil anymore, and it removes Launch Octopus's ability to use pretty much any of his weapons.
Yep.
He only gets 2 attacks at that point. He loses his homing missiles, and he only gets the basic missiles that he shoots, which he always does at the start of every fight. I think he gets the spinny attack, the tornado.
No, he can't do spin anymore.
Oh, he can't?
If he cuts things off. No, because when he catches you, he uses tentacles.
Oh, you're right. So in that case, I think he only gets the basic missiles. So you basically take away all of his stuff. Because even the piranha missiles, or whatever they are, come out of his tentacles.
Yep.
So if you cut those off, you've basically weakened him. So like what you could do is you can have it so that if you hit bosses with certain weapons, and I mean like you could really think of unique ways of using this. If you hit certain bosses with certain weapons that aren't their weakness enough times, maybe it could do something. You know, like you hit them with a bladed weapon and it chops off something on their body, you know, so they can't use it anymore. Or maybe if you hit them with like a freeze weapon, you can like freeze up their joints and like it's not their weakness, but now they can't move as fast.
I was about to say that.
You know,
like,
something
pretty much exactly that.
Yeah, like I mean, you know, great minds and all, but you know, you can do something interesting like that. You know, you can, I don't know, take a character who uses flames, and maybe like if you hit them with water, it doesn't weaken them, but it puts their flames out. So it would give you an excuse to not just rely on hitting them with one weapon over and over again, but you could swap weapons and give you a reason to do that. Like, or maybe that would be another layer to it. Let's say there's an enemy who uses flame attacks, and to damage them with their weakness, you have to put out their flame with a water attack, which isn't their weakness. And now that the flames are down, you can hit them with something that is their weakness, like an electricity attack. So because
is this a 2-tiered weakness? I love it.
So now that they're soaking wet, the electricity weapon will zap them because they're soaking wet.
That's amazing.
Now, wouldn't that be sick if you had to do like? I mean, not every boss needs that, but that would be something.
I mean, even if that was just like a castle boss, you know, just like some sort of little puzzle that makes it easier or something. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, like so instead of just because at current you can basically just go up to Spark Mandrill and just be like, I'm just gonna take pictures of you all day because you're just freezing in place with the. You just hit him with shotgun ice repeatedly. You don't even have to move if you do the timing correctly. He'll just always be frozen. So to make that battle less monotonous, maybe you can make it so that to hit him with that, you have to prime him with something. You have to hit him with some sort of attack that then makes him vulnerable to being hit by the shotgun ice, so that it gives you a reason to use more than one weapon, and makes the battle more fun because now you have to kind of switch between weapons. And it's not a requirement, but it would be interesting. Like, maybe putting out the fire with a water weapon and then zapping the enemy once they're soaking wet is one weakness, but maybe their primary weakness is something else entirely, you know? And I don't know, I think that would be fun. Like, maybe you could even implement, like, a water and ice weapon in the same game so that you can douse enemies with water and then freeze them, no matter who they are.
Oh, yeah.
So, it would give, you know, multiple uses to weapons and give you a reason to combine them. I don't know. There's things you can do, and I just kind of wish that, you know, someone was listening who would implement these, because I'm telling you, these would be fun.
Yeah.
Like maybe, let me see. I don't know. You cut off something, like someone has like armor on or something. Maybe that's the thing. Like to weaken someone, you have to hit them with like an explosive weapon to shake the armor off of them. And then now that the armor falls off, then you can hit them with something. Kind of like Armored Armadillo.
Or what if there's one and you like it's a like a morph moth type enemy, you know, like in that sort of level where there's junk everywhere, and so you can like cut its arm off and it'll fish in the junk and then put a different arm on, so it has a completely different attack.
And then it'll change the things like that. That would be cool. See, that's what gives the weapons usefulness. You find ways of using them besides just like this does 8 damage instead of 2. You know? Yeah. There's so much that can be explored with that. I could write like a whole game document about this.
Well, I mean, the future's bright right now, so
yeah, who knows? I think that would be excellent. I think that's a cool idea, and I hope that they implement something like that. 2-tiered weaknesses. Like, not every boss needs it, but it would be cool if you added that as a possibility.
It'd definitely be really cool. Well, I mean, maybe we'll see, and
we'll just
maybe,
have to see.
Yeah, and maybe next time we'll have a little special about things that we do want to see, a wish list of sorts.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe some sort of wish list of things that we would like to see coming from Mega Man. You know, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I hope you guys will be patient until then.
Yep. So just stick around and subscribe to the channel. That's the plug, I guess.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Smash it!
Yeah, put on your power armor and smash it.
Oh, bringing us back to the top.
There you go, see? And then wear your jet armor and fly your mouse up to that bell.
I like that. The bell's pretty high up.
I don't know.
But, that's all the stuff that we had come up with. Do you have any last minute additions?
No, I think we covered everything pretty much in depth. I just want more of that. More of these things that we talked about. Not all of them will make sense all at the same time, but I would love to see some of these features come back because, you know, they were good ideas, and it's a shame to only see them used one time and then just never again.
Yeah, but maybe you out there have some things that you liked in previous games that we didn't even mention, so let us know.
Yeah, put it down in the comments. Let us know if there's anything that we might have missed, anything that you liked from previous games that you want to see come back. It could be anything. Give us something serious. Give us something silly. Let us know. Maybe Capcom is watching, and maybe they'll think of this video as they make their next game.
Yeah, bring back the noise crush glitch.
Yes, bring back the ability to completely annihilate bosses before they begin attacking. That seems like a perfectly valid thing to do.
Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And Twitch, thank you, as always, for being on.
Sure, no problem. Happy to be here.
Alright, and we'll see you next time. So, take care.
Take care, everybody out there in TV land, and good night.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel like The Real Zero, Doranor, and the rest of these fine people, or if you just want cool emotes to use during streams, click that join button to become a channel member. Sorry again about the musical mishap. Anyway, see you next time with our Christmas wishlist episode.